Sometimes you get really, really homesick, and the biggest salve to that is playing video games with my friends. I adore voice acting, and I think it's something I would love to do more of. Actors feel this imposter syndrome because we are playing other people.
I'm Naomi, and this is Game Rant's Character Select, the show where I sit down with the most talented voices in gaming. I'm joined by actor and friend of mine, Tony Revolori, known for playing Flash Thompson in the Marvel Universe and his breakout role in Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. He shares about what it was like growing up in Anaheim, what he learned working on Blockbuster film sets, his favorite moments from working in the Spider-Man films, and his love for anime, gaming, and everything nerdy. Hey Tony, welcome to Character Select. It's so good to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you because we're kind of, we're part of a D&D party, so we hang out on the regular. So it's cool to have a friend on the show this time around, somebody who I really know.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. No, I've been watching, and it's really fun to see the people you bring on, and like you said, we do hang out regularly because of the D&D.
Yeah, we have a pretty robust campaign going on, but we don't have to get too much to that. Maybe save it for later questions.
Yeah.
But I did want to talk about your upbringing because you're from Anaheim, California, right? Or born in Anaheim, but did you grow up there?
I did. I lived there for about, I would say probably 16 years of my life. There were about 2-year period, maybe about 8 or 9 when I moved up here to LA. But beyond that, I was, I went to school there until I was homeschooled from 4th grade on, 4th or 5th.
Oh yeah.
Or somewhere around there, the older I get, the less I remember, but, homeschooled. And then, but yeah, for the most part, still love it down there. Anaheim is home.
Yeah. Do you go back often? And also, was it fun growing up there? Like, I'd imagine you were always at Disneyland.
I had family members who worked at Disneyland all the time. So weirdly enough, we never went. Downtown Disney was our hangout spot. I do remember going with my cousins and just trying to people watch.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of tourists that you wouldn't imagine in outside Anaheim, because outside Anaheim is just a regular suburb, but Disneyland had all the tourists. You could find a German family or a Japanese family or whatever, and it was just really exciting for us. But yeah, no, beyond that, it's there's a movie that I like in my life just a little bit too, in not so many different ways, but Florida Project, which is a movie made by a great filmmaker, Sean Baker, about these kids who grow up near Disneyland. And for us, my brother and I, would go and play soccer in the park, but we knew the time to go home was when we saw the Disneyland fireworks.
Oh yeah.
We didn't have watches, we didn't have phones back in the day, so we were like, oh, fireworks, it's 9:03, we got to go home. So it weirdly impacted our lives a little bit like that.
Yeah. I'd imagine also being in near Los Angeles, near the industry, that had an influence maybe on why you wanted to start acting? Or what would you say was your main influence for that?
I'm very grateful that my father afforded my brother and I, both my parents, to be honest, afforded my older brother and I the opportunity when we were kids to try out all different types of things. I think the opportunity was there because it was a 30-minute to 2-hour drive, depending on traffic, to go to auditions.
Yeah.
And my brother and I, we loved it. So we just kept never wanting to stop, even though my parents gave us the opportunity to stop whenever we wanted to. But, we grew up playing music. We grew up playing soccer. The quasi-American dream was given to us where we had the opportunity to try everything. And thankfully, acting stuck somehow.
Yeah, it worked out. And you do have a lot of brothers, I think. So you have your older brother and your younger brother. Okay, so you were the middle child.
I was the younger one is 14 years younger than me. So I was the youngest for 14 years before I became the middle child. But weirdly enough, I feel like I do have middle child syndrome.
Right. Which means I actually don't know what the syndrome is specifically. I guess it's
the memes are all the abandonment, the like,
Oh yeah.
no one knows you exist, and the older sibling gets all the chores and has to like basically raise the younger ones, which is very accurate for our family. But I think I was left to my own device many a times, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. So you kind of had to like create your own reality, or like play with whatever your imagination brought in. Like, I guess it was something you had to work through. So it led into you probably being more tailored for an acting job.
It was, I think, because, my older brother and I are a year and a half apart. So I think they call it Irish twins.
Oh,
we were always with each other. I was always player two,
yeah.
because I could never be the main guy. But I think I had to imagine what playing the video game was like. I had to imagine everything because, it was his Game Boy. It was his game cartridge. And at that time, obviously, they didn't have multiple saves.
Right.
Except for Fire Emblem. I do remember that game giving us 3 things, but he used up 2 slots, a backup one and then his slot, and then I got the 3rd one. But nevertheless, I think being the middle child gave me a lot of opportunities to explore things, which was fun.
Yeah. And you talk about gaming. Obviously, gaming was a part of your childhood. Yeah. So what were your influences? Like, what was your gateway into that world?
I remember there was a family friend, and he was an only child when we were growing up, and then later he got a sister as well, which isn't relevant for the story. But, because he was an only child, they gave him every video game system.
So he had
the 64, he had the Segas, and whenever we went over there, we were so excited to go to this family friend's house, only because we knew we'd probably get an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
So finally, I think it was my brother's 9th birthday. Our uncle and a cousin, an elder cousin, gifted my brother for his birthday a Game Boy Color. And that was our first system that we had ourselves. And we had... Or no, it might have even just been a Game Boy, because it was the black and white, and we had Super Mario, and I think that was it.
Did you only have one console between all of you guys?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh my gosh.
It was that. And then we got an N64, and the only game we had was Pokemon Snap.
Oh wow.
Which was awesome, but we wanted any of the other games.
Right. Like Mario 64. Like
right, exactly.
Yeah, anything Mario Kart.
2 players, which, we only had 1 control at the time. And then as we got older, we each got our Nintendo DS, and, he got Fire Red and I got Leaf Green, and we were trading Pokemon so that way we'd have all 3 starters for both of us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you guys were just a gaming family. You guys love gaming.
I mean, whenever we had the opportunity, we would absolutely be playing video games. I do remember, driving up to Anaheim, or not to Anaheim, to LA for whatever audition we were going to. And we had, and I don't know if you remember the little like micro SD like Game Boys.
I think I remember that.
This big. They were tiny. The screen was non-existent.
Right.
But I remember, I think I saved enough money, bought that for myself, so I could secretly play in between auditions and going to and from and waiting in the waiting rooms, which now it's all self-tapes, and that's a different soapbox to get on. But I would be playing in between, and whenever I got bored, my brother would then take it, play his file, and or his game cartridge, and I would start reading like the Aragorn books.
Wow.
Aragon books.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's just...
So you were always like into entertainment, whether that was movies, games, stuff like that.
Yes.
Was there a moment or a film or something you were like, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? Like, was there anything like that just really influenced you growing up?
I remember watching, I think, Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire's
Fitting.
And like hearing crowds, and like I do remember being like, this is so cool. This is awesome. And people get paid to do this. And I was already at that point acting as well, but like the idea that I could get to that level was awesome.
Yeah. Blockbuster.
100%. And then, when we were younger, my brother was probably the more prevalent one, booking a little bit more because he was a little older. So, and, less schooling hours, more hours working, as it works out. And I remember, he did little episode stints on like Law and Order and Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, things like that. And so watching him back on any of those things and seeing the reaction of my family, my friends, that was also really encouraging to be like, oh no, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And then a movie that like stuck with me deeply was Amadeus, which is again a very heady film that, as a child I didn't fully understand, but I remember watching.
That was a weird movie.
And the emotionality of it and the incredible performances throughout the entire movie, it like moved whatever 12-year-old me was like looking for. And it just was like, oh, movies can be this too. This is cool. And so, I was, after that, I was kind of like hooked on what movies could do for other people.
Yeah. At what point in the timeline after seeing, the Amadeus Spider-Man, did you get Wes Anderson? Because I'm trying to remember what years they came out. Was it after that? After that.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah.
I was 15 when I first auditioned for Grand Budapest Hotel. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I was 15 when I started. I was 16 when I shot it, 17 when the movie came out, and then like 18 years old doing the whole, Oscars things. So it was like a 4-year process for me.
Wow.
But yeah, there was an in-between time where I was watching just an ungodly amount of movies. And, unfortunately, it's not like I could go to the theater every week, or I could see, I think we went to Blockbuster twice a week, my family and I, and whatever other video rental stores were around before Blockbuster kind of took up the monopoly of it all. And my dad would just rent 5 movies, and my brother and I would watch each one of them, in an uncertain amount of time, from Lawrence of Arabia to whatever, X-Men movie or what, we were kind of watching everything and anything.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And it was a great education just to watch without, studying, and just kind of naturalistically watching and going, great performance. Yeah. And at this point also, understanding how movies are made to the degree that a child can who's been on set.
Right.
And picking up, oh, I see why he did that, or blah, blah, blah. And having almost that be my schooling in acting.
Yeah. Speaking of that, actually, what were some of the important things you learned working with Wes Anderson and on that movie, Grand Budapest? Was there anything that you immediately caught on to quickly and then kind of stuck around since working on that?
The importance of like knowing your lines. Wes is very similar to like kind of a play, insofar as like you don't add or theys or any words or something. What is written on the page is
by the page, by the book.
Very play-like, which is nice, because then, when all the other actors do the same thing, everyone's kind of ready to go. And it just kind of feels a little bit more orchestral, because everyone's everyone's on it as opposed to other things. Well, I also still love a good improvisation and things like that, and can lead to incredible moments. That was something that I think the importance of the script was really kind of drilled in, and the importance of, as you can imagine, what do they call it? Oh my God.
Your spot, you're like the mark. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Hitting your mark. And, it's for him, it's extremely specific. And
he's very specific.
Extremely central, or wherever you need to be to place
the composition of everything. Exactly. Yeah.
So, that was a big important thing to me, where I was like, oh, okay, I understand that. And then, other little things that I've learned throughout, having a long career now of, God, I think 20.
Yeah, I was going to ask how long years. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. But yeah, I think those two things were the main things. And then specific to him, just like, saying the words faster.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. So getting the words out faster. That's tough, because I'm always told, just with what I do, I don't do acting a lot, but the thing that people tell me all the time is slow down. Like,
really?
Easy. Yeah. Like don't rush through the script or the words, which is, so I have to go the opposite route. Maybe I'm a little too fast.
No. I find that really interesting. Just the juxtaposition of the two.
Yeah. I guess different directors probably want something different anyway.
Yeah. I think Wes has his own style and everything as people.
When, just back to that project, one last question about it. Did you know at the time that it would be as big as it was? Like, you ended up going to all these events after, like, all the big awards and stuff?
I think it was slowly dawning on me as things were happening. I remember being cast, I was flown to Paris to meet him for an audition. And, I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty big. And I'd seen his movies before and, had known his work and stuff like that. But, you never really imagine. Mm-hmm. And then, as the cast list was being released slowly and surely throughout the process before I even fly, I'm seeing, all the actors being attached to it and going, oh my God, okay, that person's in it, that person, who. And I think while shooting it, they did a really good job of making me feel very comfortable of kind of just going, oh, it's just a movie. Like, don't, just relax. And I was like, okay, great. But, eventually the movie comes out, and even after it comes out, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, cool. I'm in a movie. This is really fun. And, I'm doing press in Germany or this or that and blah, blah, blah. And then it wasn't really until kind of, I guess, the Oscar run, not because of the Oscar run, but because we were doing events and getting to talk to a lot of people and hearing them say, oh, it's, my favorite movie, or, whatever it is, they, in part, whatever story they took and gleaned from the movie kind of made me feel like, oh, this means something more than just like it being a movie.
Yeah.
Constant little reminders of, meeting people on the street who will say something along those lines of how much the movie means to them or whatever, will remind me, oh, right, that was like a big thing we did.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a particular part of that process, like making the movie, like auditions, the press stuff after, that you really enjoy? Like, is there a particular part of that you really enjoy? Is it always the stuff on set, I guess?
It's so easy to say the stuff on set. Just because you're doing the things you're it's when actors get to play. And the press is I think the traveling is fun.
Yeah.
Just to go to new places. If I had to find something, the silver lining of it all. So that's fun. I traveled around the world, and we were, going on trains in Europe from country to city to country. And that was really cool. And I would say, yeah, I would say that if I couldn't say just the on-set experience of like doing the job, I would say then the traveling that you get to do.
What's the thing that made you the most nervous? Like, was it at the start, early career? Now you're just like, I don't get nervous ever, or is there still something that makes you nervous?
I think I don't know if I'll ever not be nervous.
Okay, for any project.
For any project, I think like I don't know. Maybe this is just me, but I feel like sometimes actors, and I'm speaking generally, but it's mostly for myself, feel this imposter syndrome because we are playing other people. And you wonder if you're doing a good job and stuff like that, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think my first day on set with new people is always the most nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It's why I love working with Wes, because he brings the same people back. So, you know, after Budapest, when I went back and was fortunate enough to work with him again, and, you know, it's the same crew. So I'm like, I'm seeing family again. And so it makes you kind of feel a little less nervous and less nervous every time.
That is a benefit of that.
Right. But every new project, there's a new sound guy, there's a new DP, there's a new director. And like, so I think you're like, how is this family going to cohesively fit? Will it fit? And what is my function in it? And I think that's what kind of gets me nervous every time. But you know, it's kind of also exciting because you never know if you're going to have a better experience or a worse experience, or you kind of make the experience you're going to get. Yeah.
Good way to put it. So how was it then when you joined Marvel at that point?
It was, there was, and I think I've written something, or I've said this already. Like I never thought I was going to join Marvel. I genuinely was like, oh, that's kind of, you know, beyond me. Especially at that time, you know, the height of what Marvel was doing.
Yeah.
I had auditioned for Peter Parker and absolutely bombed the audition. It was horrible. I was like so nervous, and you know, I was just completely wrong for it anyway. But then they asked me back, and they were like, would you audition for what would then be Ned's character, Jacob Batalon's character? And I said, sure, great. So, you know, went in and did my stuff. And as we kept going along the process, they were like, would you mind reading for this character, the bully character? And I was like, okay, sure.
That's nice. That's good. Good sign.
Keep me around, please.
Yeah.
And I remember doing not a test screening, but it was like a director's session, I guess it was, with John Watts at Disney Studios at the Marvel offices. And then afterwards, I think it was like 2 days later that like I get a call from my team at the time being like, oh yeah, like they'd love to have you. And I was like, it was obviously so exciting. There's like this wish fulfillment that a childhood me, and also, let's be completely honest, a little bit adult me, was like, I did it. And then every day was a version of that when I see, you know, Tom in the suit, or, you know, Michael Keaton doing his thing, and as I kept being in the other movies, always like a little part of my nerd childhood was like, I remember reading that. That's awesome. And I get to be here and watch that happen is so electric and such a fulfilling feeling. It's also great because the movies are good, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're great. I love them. I go to every Marvel release, no matter what, whenever it comes out. Fantastic. Yeah, hell yeah. Would you say that there's a difference in like working for something like a big blockbuster movie, like Marvel movie, and like the more indie projects that you've been taking on lately?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think like at the end of the day, the bigger the budget, the more which is, you know, these bigger tentpole movies, the more fear there is that like you want to get it absolutely perfect. You want to get it absolutely right, that every take kind of has to be lightning in a bottle. While working on an indie, there's maybe sometimes a little bit more room to grow or grow into the character, find it, or, you know, improv a little, shake up the script a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, you know, also with indies, it's like, well, we have what we have. We don't have this location anymore.
Yeah, we can't retake.
It's like you got to hit the take, or
there's no pickups.
We're not coming back here.
Yeah,
or, whatever. While then that affordability on a big budget project, is kind of solved because you do have the pickups. You know that like they will afford you that seventh take because you're like, shit, money. I couldn't get it in my brain.
Yeah.
One more take and I'll get it right. Right. Well,
yeah.
Like, nope, we have to move on. No other takes. And I think there's this, I personally like being put a little bit under the pressure. So, being in an indie movie and having that kind of go-getter mentality, which I would also bring to a studio film, but I think like, there's a lot more waiting, while you gotta set up, the blue screen or the green screen or whatever monster or prosthetics are on you or blah, 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 blah. All these things take time. So it's like, it's a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
The movie, it's like run, cameras up, do your lines. And if you don't get it right, then we got to just move on.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, I don't know how my brain works being anyway.
No, it's totally, and it's just how those projects work and end up turning out because the budget is so tight or the timeline is so tight. But back to Spider-Man for a little bit. Did you have any interesting or funny moments that you just like always think about when you think about working on that project? Like if there was anything maybe behind the scenes or anything that happened that's like a funny story to tell or anything like that?
I remember, I don't know if I've said this, maybe I have, but I do remember we being Jacob Batalone and I, we were on set and this is during the first movie and we were at the studios and this is our first time and I'm 20, 21 maybe, or maybe I turned 21 on the project. Either way, they gave us golf carts, which is a horrible thing to do with young kids who so we would be riding around and racing each other in these golf carts. And I do remember tipping one of the golf carts over.
Oh no.
And like absolutely like it started tipping and I think I jumped out in time and still fell and rolled.
That's crazy.
And I'm sure they have it in security cameras somewhere on that film stage in Pinewood. But then it took me and Jacob, both of us, to like write the things. We went back and, without anyone scolding us, we just like were the best behaved kids. And it was like one of those moments that I'll never forget because it just kind of feels like I did the Hollywood thing and did something.
Oh yeah. Messed around on the lot.
Messed around on the lot. It just felt such a old school Hollywood story.
Yeah, totally. Were you like, we're never doing that again?
until like, 1 week later, we were like, well, no one caught us. Should we do it again? But then we were a little bit more careful. I think
more vigilant.
We were like, well, let's not turn the corner so quick. Right.
Let's not get into an accident where we have to like just postpone shooting because you're in the hospital for a broken leg or something. Because I'd be nervous about that. I feel like with such a big project
that sunk in after, the following going, oh yeah, no, nothing would hurt me. And then now as an adult, I'm like, do I really want to jump, this drop and potentially sprain my ankle? No, I don't. Right.
Because a lot of is riding on the, you being able to show up to set and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would be the same way too. I'm like, I'll try to be as little as I can in a car or doing anything like that. Right. Don't want to. Yeah. And I'd imagine for them, there's insurance and all that, but.
100%. I remember the first time when I was in Germany shooting Grand Budapest Hotel, we went to some skiing mountain, like, I don't know, 30 mountains, and they would not let me ski. They were like, no, you can't. You've never done this before. You absolutely cannot. And I was like, why? And obviously, as a kid, I didn't understand, but, I had to show up to set the next day and, not be injured or whatever. So,
yeah. And skiing is a dangerous sport, snowboarding.
I've still yet to do it because my brain is still scared of like, well, what if I have to go to set tomorrow?
What if I have a project? Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
All right, let's get into some of the voice acting you've been doing. So, Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, you're in that TV series.
Yes.
I've seen you post about it on your Instagram.
Yes.
Is voice acting something you enjoy doing?
I absolutely adore it. I truly, really, really love voice acting. I've been working very hard at trying to have more voices and do different things, and there are incredible voice over actors like Phil Lamar and Tara Strong,
Yeah.
who just are so incredible, and they can do so much with their voice, and it's something I aspire to. I don't know if my vocals can or ever will, but I'll give it a shot. But I also just love it. I think there's a collaborative spirit that is so easy and simple, at least from the actor's perspective, of like, you kind of go into the booth, you try a bunch of things, and you curse with the character, even though it's a child's TV show, or you kind of get into it, and I remember Dan and Benji, who were kind of the showrunner creators of Lego Star Wars. Once I kind of got comfortable with them and just like kind of going into the booth, which thankfully they rented a booth around the corner from my house, I would bring my own lightsaber that I built at Disneyland, and they would too, and we would reenact the scenes with me waving around this fake lightsaber, which was like so great, because it just makes me feel so alive and so great. But then you don't have to worry about this is also what's great about it. You don't have to worry about how you look,
Yeah.
roll out of bed, have a nice cup, walk right in. And if your voice does the thing, it's like great.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And I think I grew up watching so many Saturday morning cartoons that, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like slowly, the dream and the goal is to do like anime dubs. That's been the goal, knock on wood. And I've been trying, but surely little by little, I will, and I've gotten to do my dream, which, every time I joined a big agency, they would ask me, what director would you want to work with? Any director. And I would always write Hayao Miyazaki, and they were like, well, that's not, we don't really, I mean, sure, okay, we'll try, but like probably not. And I was like, no, I know, but like I'd want to. And then I was very, very fortunate enough to be able to do a very small voice in Boy and the Heron, which was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
But I adore voice acting, and I think it's something I would love to do more of. I would do it for free if I could. If people wanted to hire me, I'd be like, just send me, DMs. I'll record. I have a booth in my house now because I'm like, I want to do more of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I completely forgot to ask and research this beforehand, but have you ever voiced a character in a game?
No, weirdly enough, no. And I've always wanted to. I've auditioned for a lot of them, and it just hasn't happened. I remember the one that I did audition for that I was like, this would be really cool, but I don't really understand how the audition just didn't make sense to me. And then it ended up being Dispatch, the game.
Oh my God.
And I auditioned.
You would have been great for that.
I think Aaron Paul absolutely nailed it, so we're gonna give it.
We're good.
I think it's okay. I'm very happy that I didn't get it because he was phenomenal in it.
Yeah.
I truly would love to do voiceovers for a game. Mutual friend in one of my favorite series, in Dylan being able to voice.
Oh my gosh,
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, that's right.
Kingdom Hearts to me is like one of my favorite series of all time. So to be able to I would love and die to do a voice on that.
Oh yeah.
Game in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I also think there's the really cool version of doing the mocap video game stuff. I would love to do too, because I think there's a level of acting that is required as well that needs to be had. But yeah, no, I've unfortunately never done it.
Yeah, I guess I assumed you had,
Yeah,
because it totally fits like your interests as well. And
yeah.
we haven't talked about it, but you are a huge anime nerd.
Yes, yeah, I am. I am. I certainly do uh, indulge in it a bit. Obviously I was in Korea and then went to Japan, and we had a whole trip about it and stuff like that, which I adore going there. Um, and yeah, I think the medium is very beautiful. I kind of like the way I kind of got into it were the Saturday morning cartoons, whatever was like, Pokemon, Digimon,
Yeah.
um, that ended up, doing it, and the Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Balls, that whole thing that happened at Toonami, which was kind of the
Yeah.
afternoon thing. And as I did like my horrible Google searches for anime stuff, I ended up, finding Miyazaki, finding Makoto Shinkai, and all of these like incredible animated filmmaker directors. And something that I just wasn't getting in Western animation was not being treated like a child, which is something that I think they do so wonderfully. Miyazaki makes incredible movies that are poignant for adults and for kids. And I think that's what makes it so beautiful. He doesn't talk down to them. He just makes a story that is for them that we can all relate to. While I think Western animation kind of, at least back then when I was growing up, was very much like, we're here to make a movie for kids, which, Pixar did phenomenally well, as well as many other studios. But there was just something about anime that gave me a sense of like empathy, because they really kind of showed you the hardship of a character and the consequences, which, taught me a lot as a child.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations for anyone trying to get into anime that you would say you should watch these?
The very first anime I would say to watch, if you want to just watch a movie and make it very simple and easy, is Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. It's lovely. People have, spoken very highly about it. But I would say it's just a good entry piece for how beautiful the visuals can get, but also how the story can get a little bit, what's to the Japanese culture as opposed to the American culture.
Yeah.
Which I think the Japanese firmly kind of tell their stories in this soft world building, where you're not going to get the answer of every question. It's like, this is how it is, accept it and move on.
Yeah.
As opposed to Lord of the Rings, they will tell you why every decision is made. There's 14 books to back up that one decision, which is awesome as well.
Yeah.
I would say that one. And if you enjoy that, I would go right into Girl Who Leapt Through Time by Mamoru Hosoda. And then any Miyazaki movie I think would be phenomenal. Howl's Moving Castle or The Wind Rises are two good ones that I really like.
Okay.
And yeah, I would say start off with movies, and if you're good with that, then ask whatever anime nerd friend you have, which, let's be honest, everyone has one.
Everyone has one. Yeah. All right, let's get into your gaming stuff, because you, when I was like, hey, do you want to be on this show? You were like, I want to talk about the latest consoles. So what do we want to talk about with that?
There's not much to talk about PS5 wise or Xbox or any of these kind of things, which, are still awesome and incredible, and I love playing on them. I'm such a controller player that even when I play on my PC, I'll connect my controller to it. But I want to talk about the Steam Deck. The Steam Cube that is coming out.
Yes.
I think that is I think they have a market, and I might be completely wrong, but as someone who loves gaming but has to travel for work, and I don't want to carry my PlayStation 5, which is bulky and not really flat and easy to pack. I don't, a Switch is great, but, I can't really play high intensive games on a Switch.
Yeah. You're limited to the games you can play.
Exactly. Or I'm limited by what the graphics could give me if I wanted to play Fortnite on a Switch. And then, so I really think this is like such a beautiful market. And again, I don't know what else is out there. Maybe there's gaming laptops that I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that exists, but like a portable PC sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's like 6 inches by 6 inches is what they say.
Yeah.
I could put that in a backpack and have my entire PC set up with me and be able to play all the Steam games that I love playing, which, you know, as you well know, Kyle and I play Marvel Rivals or
Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders.
Yeah.
I was going to say Arc Lightning, and I was like, stop. My brain was like, uh-oh. And so like just being able to have that as someone who travels, like it sounds so, you know, when I travel for work, I think I can, you know, I love my co-stars. I love the people I'm working with, but sometimes you get really, really homesick. And the biggest salve to that is playing video games with my friends. And, you know, it's why I love games like Fortnite and Marvel Rivals, because I can catch up with my friends and talk while we're, you know, dunking on noobs. And so the idea of this like Steam Cube is just so, I don't know, perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. I totally agree with you. It's the one I'm looking forward to because there was the Xbox handheld that came out last year.
That's right.
Which I was like, maybe I'll get it. But then I heard about the Steam machine and I was like, no, I'm getting this first. But yeah, it's apparently coming out soon. Like should be first half of this year. That's the point.
Oh, fantastic.
So let's hope. And just depends on price too, if it does well.
Well, yeah. And I also, you know, with everything going on, I'm sure the prices are going up and down. And they're figuring it all out. But it's still, I think it's an incredible thing to just have. As like a console. I mean, being able to play almost damn near every game, and basically have your PC with you at any point, just sounds so awesome.
So good.
and you know, it is like a thing where I'm very grateful now, and I've been replaying, and I've mentioned it before, but the Kingdom Hearts series with my little brother, because he never played them and he will know peak. And like the only way we could play it really is like through Steam and stuff like that, because I didn't want to have to go and buy individual, you know, CDs for a PlayStation 3 that is, you know, it's the whole thing. So I was like, oh, this makes it so much easier.
So much easier.
As well as the, like, you know, comfortability of being able to place it and having it easily connect to everything. So I think it's really, really smart. I'm curious what the downfalls will be of it, if there will be any, right? Because I used to have the I think it was like the RGB Ally.
Yeah, the ROG Ally or ROG.
ROG.
yeah.
Which was great, but again, it fell into that same issue that for me the Switch has, which was it couldn't really handle the intensive games that I really wanted it to. Yeah. Without lagging, without, you know, whatever it was. So again, I think it's such I will praise this until I have my hands on it and then make my own decisions on it.
Hopefully soon.
For right now, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you an Xbox or a PlayStation
growing
kid?
up?
Oh,
PlayStation first and foremost. PS1, PS2, and then I finally switched over to the Xbox. I think the Xbox 360. Yeah. So it was the Xbox One, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember. But yeah, all throughout college and when I was younger, my very first console was the PS1.
Nice.
Yeah.
We had PS2, 3, then we had the Xbox 360. We got Red Ring of Death.
Yeah. Oh.
Twice.
Oh, the worst.
And then we were like back to PlayStation. And then all the meanwhile, just every Nintendo that you can imagine.
Funny enough, my first Nintendo console was the Wii U.
Really?
Yeah. And then I got the 3DS, and then since then I've had the Switch, basically.
Yeah. Did you ever play them, the like original? Like, what were your games?
Well, PS1, it was like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, the very first the Star Wars Phantom Menace game, which I know was like horribly reviewed. And then when I would play the Nintendo, it was at a friend's house. So they had like the Nintendo 64. I played Mario Kart. I played Mario 64. I loved those games. But I just didn't have the money, I guess, to get more than one console at the time. So my parents got us the PS1 because it made the most sense, and they had the memory cards and stuff. And so we're like, we're going to get that. And that's what we stuck with.
I remember we were playing some Spider-Man game on our first like PS2 that we ever bought.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. It was
a great one.
We rented that one, but we never owned it. Yeah.
We were used to saving on a Pokemon game, saving on a DS or a Game Boy games where you press save, it'll save, and you're done. So for this one, we saved it, and it said, "Do you want to overwrite?" And my brother and I, being like 12, were like, "Oh no, we don't."
Yeah.
So we would say no, and we had no idea you had to say yes. So the only way we would play the game is from beginning, trying to get as far as we could within the 2 hours that our dad let us play. And we were just ripping through things and being like, and then finally someone's like, you have to override to save.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yeah. It's we all have a story like that. Mine is my parents bought this PS1. They knew nothing about consoles or gaming. We bought the PS1. We were like so excited. We started playing games. They didn't buy memory cards. So we're like about to shut down the game, and it asks us to save, and we're like we were like, oh, do we have to start over from the start? And so we basically kept the PlayStation on the whole night. And then the next day we went to the store to buy so that we could save, because we had gotten pretty far, I remember. Anyway, it was crazy. We've all been there.
All had a version of that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I guess quickly I want to get your top 3 favorite games of all time, if you could figure out what those are.
Two.
Okay.
For sure is there. I want to say Pokemon, maybe Crystal or like Soul Silver, because I just remember playing it, and the night to day cycle was just like so awesome and revolutionary. I was like hooked. And then the third one, oh man, this is tough. You know what? I think the third one isn't always rotation, and I would say right now Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
it's great. It's just an ever constant.
It's great to go back to after not playing for a bit. Yeah. Okay, one last question, and then I have 2 more questions.
Ask away.
Do you ever play with your acting friends? People you co-starred in movies or TV shows with?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think like every time we're on set, someone's got a console in some way. Smash Bros or whatever, game gets played. I think it was a PS5 that had come out during one of the Spider-Man, and obviously Tom had it because it came out with the Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
So I remember, we all went to his trailer and played. And then in terms of like now, I definitely play with friends. Unfortunately, and this is the issue which I'm hoping the Steam machine fixes, no one can really travel with their consoles. So when they're away shooting, I'm like, oh, well, that friend and I won't play for another 6 months till they're back.
Right.
And I'm gone, and, the vice versa. So it just ends up being like a scheduling issue.
Right.
Much like D&D. So yeah, I do play, but I think it's mostly when we're on set being like, who wants to host and come, and someone has brought their whatever console and we all go to their place to play.
That's fun. I always wanted to know like if that ever happened, but it sounds like yes. Yeah. What is a project or anything that you have in the works that you want people to know about or to talk about?
Anything
you could tease, anything, or something that's already out, perhaps, or coming out.
I'm grateful. I have a movie coming out I was about to say next year, but it's already next year.
Yeah.
I think in August, called The Rivals of Umziah King. Working on some new stuff now. And honestly, if I could put out a message, just go have fun, play some video games, escape, be kind to one another.
Yeah.
And if you're going to text something in that chat, that would be nice. You might make someone's day.
I love that. Well, it's awesome chatting with you, Tony. I'll see you in our next D&D session. And I just want to say too, this whole convo, I've realized that you're really good at manifesting and having those things happen. Because like literally everything you told me, it's like, oh, I was such a fan of Spider-Man, ended up being in one, you know? And then the anime connection and everything there, like the things that you really love, you end up attracting into your life, which is really cool.
Thank you. I will say the unsung hero of that is my commitment to work. And you know, I probably auditioned for every anime dubbing potentially possible now, and you know, I've yet to book a single one, but you know, hopefully one of them will come about.
It's gonna happen,
and it's just hard work. So if anyone wants to take a little bit of unsolicited advice from this, I would say just like if you have the manifestation, always just keep working towards it. And that's giving the universe the opportunity to give you what you want.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that dub job comes your way very soon. If you could call it that.
For both.
Yes, exactly. All right, Tony. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye. Thanks for watching my chat with Tony Revolori. Our channel features plenty more conversations just like this one with guests like Angelica Trey and Paul Castro Jr., so make sure to give those a watch too. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to help us grow, and we'll see you next episode.